Hey guys, I'm jumping in real quick to let you guys know that we still have tickets to our live show at Crypto.com Arena. It's going to be April 12th. It's going to be really, really cool. I hope all of you guys can make it. Of course, every ticket comes with a complimentary Clipper game that's going to be that same night. So we're going to end the live show right before the Clipper game starts so everybody can find their seats. I hope you guys enjoyed this new episode that we're dropping right now. If you guys don't, leave a hate comment, privately DM us, stalk us, whatever you want to do. But I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. I'm your host, Jalissa, and of course, I am here with the boys, Steve and Brandon. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
And how y'all doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Lame.
I'm doing good. We're doing good. We're doing good.
Yeah. It's because I whispered the intro. Brandon didn't like that. I switched it up on him.
Yeah, he never communicates with me.
I'm sorry. I gotta do something original.
He's always sandbagging me on this.
It's like you know how on old TV shows when they would do an outro like, "Hey, I'm Carl," like that. Like you know how something they would switch it up.
Oh,
from Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Julie?
Mm-hmm.
You do, or are you just pretending?
The ending of
the monkey.
Yeah, the
one
monkey
that has the 3 eyes.
Yeah. Julie, do you ever feel like we're too guy coded on this show?
You know, I really don't think so because I was looking at our analytics.
He answered for me.
Damn, yeah, you see?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Mansplaining once again.
So
I'm just kidding, Brandon.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Nah.
Wait, okay. Let's do this. You go first. Say what you were going to say.
No, go ahead, Julie. Go ahead.
No.
No.
What are you gonna
I
say?
want to hear, yeah.
It's too late now.
I
Go ahead.
genuinely want to hear.
I'm already interested.
I'll leave.
You won't leave.
Yeah, well,
You're not going to leave, bro.
Is that
How are you going to get home?
my car?
This is the canon of the show. The
canon
outside
of the
world.
show is what's the canon of the show?
The canon of the show is that we're at a classroom and we
It's
did a carpool.
It's like WWE where everybody lives back.
Yeah. No, we took a bus here. We took a bus to the podcast, and so how are you gonna get home, bro? The bus doesn't get here till 3:30.
Oh yeah, the shuttle.
Yeah, the shuttle. So you gotta stay here.
The shuttle.
We gotta eat school lunch together. The flat ass.
This
patty.
is filmed in a school, guys.
We are in a school.
We do have that budget.
Mm-hmm.
We do have that budget.
We got money like that. Guys. We don't. Please.
Wait, I
subscribe.
like the theories. What was your theory, Brandon?
Please subscribe.
It wasn't a theory. It was just I was gonna say that our analytics. I was reading them the other day, and our women audience like shot up.
Oh, really?
At least on Instagram. You know, but back in the day, like maybe like 2 weeks ago. No, like a few months ago, it was pretty close. It was like 60-40 leaning towards women. Now it's like 80 women.
Really?
80% women.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to the women. I'm glad you guys can feel comfortable in our space. It's probably because me and Brandon had sisters and mothers, and we're so respectful. Am I right, Julie?
It has nothing to do with the women on our show.
That's crazy.
You know what, Julie? I think that
Tell me about me.
And let's explain to her about women.
You're a wonderful supplement to me and Brandon's feminism.
Supplement?
You mean like compliment?
No, supplement. Like, you know how you take supplements for the gym?
Yeah.
Like, it aids the show. She's an aid.
But doesn't supplement mean like it's a supplement? Like you're not getting that, so it's supplementing that?
Yes, exactly. Does that not describe a woman on a show?
I think but like in the way you're using it, I think you're saying like me and you lack feminism, so she supplements that for us. That's why I'm like, you mean compliment?
You're right. You're absolutely right. But you were gonna say, Julie, do you think our show is men coded or not?
A little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, then let's talk about what you want to talk about. What do women, adult 20-year-old women, want to talk about?
Relationships.
Really?
Yeah. What you guys?
That's a stereotype. As someone who represents a lot of women, I feel offended.
Huh?
You asked her what she thought, and you're like, nah. I don't agree.
See, they don't like me on here. They don't
What?
Yeah,
You're literally my sister. How could I not like you?
You could hate your sister.
Behind the scenes, I'm literally always like, Julie.
No, you're not.
What?
That's wild.
I feel like Brandon's always on your side.
No,
That's
he's
true.
not. He's always mean to me.
What? That's wild. All right. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy
You're always
podcast
trying to
drops.
sock me, bro.
That's a good sign. That's like
That's like he sees you as the bro.
yeah. That's not like if it'd be concerning if I wasn't doing the you know.
Yeah, because like men are very straightforward.
Oh, because
so-
you guys are violent.
No, that's what
That's a stereotype too. As someone who
That's
represents a lot of men.
that's what all men do with their sisters. They're you know.
Yeah.
Unts.
We bring we bring joy and laughter
To women's lives. So you guys are the
We're,
men.
I'd say we're the sole proprietor of fucking joy in their lives.
We're the reason they tune in.
Yeah.
The women tune in for the
Wow.
men perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julie.
I'm
Go ahead.
just kidding.
Okay, give me
Do
pretend.
do you guys ever notice though that most podcasts are two guys and one girl? How come it's never two girls and one guy?
That's
'Cause-
actually a good point.
Because I was thinking the other day. Well, this wasn't an original thought, but someone brought it to my attention. Not about us, but they were just like, "Oh, like most podcasts are two guys and one girl." And I was like, "Oh shit, they are. Even we are." But we didn't like design it like that.
It
You know?
just happened to be that way.
Yeah. Why do you think that is though?
Do you think it's a societal concept? Of
Well, the
that?
person who told me this said they thought most podcasts it's like a what's the word? That the woman's just mostly the eye candy and like the flattering to the guys.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't say our podcast is like that. I feel like
I have heard that too, because I've seen that with another show, and I think it's rumored that they use her because it's super easy to kind of like joke on her, like roast her, and make her like the butt of the joke a lot.
yeah.
And that's why they have her on their show, because it helps them look better in that light.
You
So
see-
I've seen that.
You see, that's not true.
I've heard of that.
I feel
but
like
but that's more of like them trying to use the girl instead of
Yeah.
like them actually like having like I guess that equal relationship with each other.
Got you.
But I think that's more to use her so that the dudes in the podcast can benefit.
But
I don't get why it's not two girls and one guy. I don't know. I haven't
But
seen
you would
that
agree
much.
that, generally speaking, that the reason that usually there's a girl and two guys is because the girl is offering something superficial, whether it's to be the butt of the joke,
yeah,
to be the eye candy, or whatever it is.
yeah.
Interesting.
Well, you see, that's why I don't think it relates to our show either. I'm not to defend our show, like as if you're calling us out, but I've always felt, and we've mentioned this on the pod when we first started, is that, and Julie, you offer a ground to me and Brandon's like absurdity. Like I feel like me and Brandon are really silly. Like if it was just a podcast of me and Brandon, we could literally have an hour of us talking about the most like obscure shit.
I think if it was a podcast of just me and you, our show wouldn't look like how it looks. It would be much more, probably like
Messy?
silly and immature.
It'd be very immature.
I feel like Julie provides the maturity
Yeah.
because Julie doesn't think we're funny. So,
It's true.
She doesn't. So that's why it's kind of.
I laugh.
Yeah, well, you know what? We've grown on her.
It's because we figured her out. It's because we figured her out. But
bro,
you
when we first started, oh my god.
First started, not a peep, not even a nose exhale, just no.
Well, it's true, bro. I remember like sometimes something would kill us both, and we'd be laughing at it for 3 minutes, and I would look back on the episode, and Julie would just be like there, just staring at us.
And then I'd
like,
feel bad because I'd be like, damn, fucking dumbass kids over here, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking not even that
But
funny.
It's
now
'cause-
now
it's
she
just-
finds us funny.
Well, it's because
Kinda.
it's just when they would talk about things, I never understood what the hell they were referencing. So I was always like, what? So I think it's because I started finally like understanding what you guys reference, because you guys always make these jokes, especially like with movie lines and shit, and I'm like, I don't get those because I don't like remember lines or anything from movies either.
You
It's
don't
'cause we
remember
went to
anything.
I don't remember
Ever.
anything.
You
Yeah.
don't remember anything ever, bro. I know you're my sister.
Film school, bro.
Oh yeah, we're film bros.
we're
You're
better
film
than that.
geeks.
Geek is an offensive term.
How is it? You make it offensive.
Damn.
Oh, really?
Would you say
Uh-huh.
would you say that about other?
Words, bro.
Other
Would you
words?
say that about other words?
Yeah, like what?
People make them offensive. Like what?
Like
what?
that, like geek.
Uh,
Is geek really offensive? So would you guys
Like,
prefer if I
nah.
call you film nerds?
Nerds.
if you called me, okay.
Mm-hmm.
How about you call me
How about
your cool little brother?
How about you call me by my name and that's it?
But anyways,
I
guys.
introduce you guys all the time in the beginning of this episode.
Don't interrupt me,
she
Julie.
does. Yeah, she does. But anyways.
Oh, that's true, actually.
Wait. So, should we be the first show to produce a show that's 2 girls and 1 guy?
That's pretty true. You know what I think it is?
Stay tuned.
No, that wouldn't make sense. Never mind. Forget I brought it up. I was gonna say like, oh, is it because like if you have 2 girls and 1 guy, that there's an overbearing of like femininity and it's like not equal balance. That doesn't make any sense.
I actually think 2 girls and 1 guy is more balanced than 2 guys
Yeah.
and 1 girl.
No, I agree. That's why I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't get what. I'm just trying to figure out why there isn't like 2 girls and 1 guy.
I genuinely think it's because it's mostly the other way. Like 2 guys and 1 girl is very like, what's the word? Sexist. Like it has a lot of sexist origins. Like obviously the girl is supposed to be something.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I guess if you have that mindset when you look at the 2 girl 1 guy setup, there's not a lot like, I don't know.
Okay. I think about this, and I don't know if this is correct, so you can tell me if this is offensive or not. I'm not trying to be offensive. But I think about that if in a scenario where 2 girls want to create a podcast, right? Or whatever situation it is, 2 girls want to create a podcast. I feel like I find it hard to believe that 2 girls would be like, let me add in a guy. Let's add in a guy.
Yeah.
Right? It just doesn't, in my head, it doesn't make sense that they would like seek that masculine perspective, especially if the 2 girls are very like, that's going to be a very feminine, dominated by women show. That's not a bad thing, but I'm just saying that's what it is. But if it's the other way around, if it's 2 men, honestly, 2 men, I feel like are like,
oh, I get you.
Are going to be like, I don't know, we might be too masculine, it might be too offensive, it might be too like, you know, it might be very niche.
Yeah.
But if we had a woman, at least it adds like a perspective that's against ours.
Yeah.
But I feel like for women, you don't really need that. You don't need the male perspective because there's already so much
Male
like,
perspective?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
already male spaces. Like that's
Yeah.
why when people make the women gyms, like I feel like I understand the women gyms because when guys are like, "What about an all male gym?" I was like, "Well, that's just the gym.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
most gyms are mainly guys."
Yeah.
I guess in that scenario that you're saying, I feel like if it's 2 girls, for the most part, they'll be like, I feel like this is enough. Like this is enough for us to like do it ourselves kind of thing. And I don't think the man really does come to mind where they're like, oh, maybe we should add a guy. And we're like, no, I think we're both
spitting.
enough.
You're tripping.
No, you're spitting, my bad.
No, yeah, I feel like they'd probably be like, I think we're enough. It's just good enough with just the 2 of us.
I agree.
But I definitely would like to see that. I would like to see.
That would be cool. And I mean, there probably is.
If the guy isn't like crazy, I feel like I feel like a lot of podcasts, the guy's usually fucking insane, and he's like, nah, like I hate women. I feel like where's the sane man?
You guys can replace me with a woman for a pod,
with
for
a
just a
woman
pod.
for a pod.
I want to see what it's like. I want to see.
Like,
Wait, but Brandon, you gotta amp up the masculine. You gotta say some like toxic man shit. Like,
but is that problematic, bro? Why do you associate masculinity with toxicity? Well, maybe we gotta
that's
start.
all I've ever been presented.
Wow,
Damn.
amazing, very, very insightful.
Because that's to me, since that's all I've ever known, masculinity is toxic.
I don't know, but all I'm saying is I feel like there's a lot of podcast setups that are being slept on. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But they won't be for long. Hint, hint. But
stay tuned.
stay tuned.
Stay
for
tuned.
like a couple years.
But anyways, guys, Brandon, what are we gonna do today?
We're gonna play the game Yo Sabo once again, but this
Fuck
time
yeah.
it's gonna be a different setup. It's gonna be me versus Julie. Have we done that before?
No, never. I've never seen you guys go at it.
I'll probably lose. Julie's Spanish is better than mine.
I guess we'll see, Julie.
I guess we'll see.
Let's make it interesting.
Hold on though. Oh no, do this.
Yeah. Well,
do this
I'm about to ask you what is Yo Sabo, but let's make it interesting. It is boys versus girls. You guys hold the weight of your guys' gender. Let's see who can represent the Latino community better. Julie, tell us what Yo Sabo is.
All right. So Yo Sabo the game is a Latino-owned small business. It for sure is going to be really perfect for your summer games. So make sure y'all purchase your own. You guys can find them on all social media platforms under Yo Sabo _ the game. All the links will also be in the description. So y'all should get your own set. But yeah.
But yeah, all right, guys. Are you guys ready? Wait, let me set up so Brandon doesn't cheat.
What?
I know his ass be cheating.
Damn.
Not in that way.
This guy.
That's wild.
I know.
Are you guys ready, contenders?
Yeah.
¿Cómo se dice tongues?
Lengua.
No, the like tongues for grabbing food.
You mean tongs?
What's spelled this tongues? Yeah.
Pinzas?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow. Oh, I can tell. Do you mind if I use that pen?
Sure. How many are we doing? 10? Best of 10 or some shit?
Yeah, first to 10.
Tongs.
You're fucked up, bro. I thought we've had like segments about making fun of people for not speaking English perfectly. But I guess that just goes in one ear and out the other.
But like, how does that work?
Mushroom.
Champignon?
Yeah. Holy shit. Snake.
Víbora.
No, it's not. Surprisingly, no.
It's not víbora?
No.
Serpiento.
No. I honestly would have agreed with you guys. I don't know if you guys want to pass.
Snake?
Yeah, snake. Yeah.
It's not víbora?
No. Yeah. I thought it would
Like
be.
viper? Like vipera or some shit?
I think vipera is probably like viper or some shit, or like serpent or whatever.
Víbora?
No, that's serpienta, no?
Serpiente.
I don't know, but either way, that's not the word.
I fold. I don't know
That's
any
not the
other
word.
snake one on this.
What do you think? Pass or
Does it start with an E?
starts with a C?
Oh.
Man. Give me the second letter after that.
You.
Fuck.
I would say culebra.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, Julie. She said.
Nah, it should be víbora. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's tripping.
How do you say roof?
Oh, techo.
Wow. Julie, the women are weeping.
Nah, Drew's gonna get comeback of the century.
Okay, ¿cómo se dice purr?
Purr? Like
Like a
cat
cat
purr?
purr?
Yeah, like a cat purr.
I have no idea.
Gruñar?
No. I think gruñar is like growl.
what's the first letter?
R.
I don't know.
All right, I'll skip.
Nah, I
I'll
don't
skip.
know.
I'll skip.
But what is
It was ronronio.
Ronroneo?
Ronronio. ¿Cómo se dice to break?
to break? Like
Quebrar?
No, I think for me, I would think.
Romper?
Yeah, there you go. Julie didn't even.
Isn't romper to rip?
I thought it was like the rip to tear. Hey, don't question the cars, man. They're doing their best. It's a great game. ¿Cómo se dice bacon?
Oh, I know this one. Shit. My girlfriend says it all the time.
Get his buck on.
No. It's, fuck, what's the first letter?
T.
God damn it, I know it. Tonizo.
Wow. Yeah, you do. Julie, you currently have 2. Brandon has 4.
I should have said tocino. My
¿Cómo
bad.
se dice deaf?
I don't know.
Deaf?
Deaf.
Sordo.
Yeah, wow.
I thought that was slang. Like,
I thought that was slang too.
yeah.
I guess we just don't know Spanish like that.
Maybe not.
¿Cómo se dice desk?
Mesa?
No.
Tablón? No. Desk?
Yeah.
Desk?
You guys know for sure. You guys, come on.
You
guys
should know. This is embarrassing. First letter.
E.
Escritero?
Escritorio?
Escritorio?
got it.
That's
He got
crazy.
it. He got it.
took
You-
it.
He
Come
got
on,
it,
she
yeah.
said escritero though.
That's not-
that's not even close.
I feel like it's close, but you said it exactly, so I feel like I have to give it to you.
Hey.
I would have given it to Julie.
You're a cheater. You are a cheater.
Right? Now you know my pain, bro. Now you know my pain.
That's crazy.
This
Y'all
will be
just mad.
cheating.
What?
It just gives cheating. I don't know what it is.
It's giving.
It's giving cheat.
It's giving cheater.
Okay, next.
¿Cómo se dice belt?
Cinto.
Cinturón.
Yeah, if I gave it, yeah, Julie gets it.
What?
It's cinturón.
That's
Cinto,
wild. That's
nah.
wild.
If I gave the last one to you, I gotta give this one to her.
nah.
She said it exactly as it's written, as it was written. Let's skip this one. This one's too easy.
What is it?
It was. I'm not gonna give it. This doesn't count. But do you guys know how to say mustache?
Bigote.
Yeah, it's too easy.
Nah, that should have counted. She didn't even say it. She didn't even say it.
I know you were like,
No.
I saw your brain lose like some fucking years in its lifespan. How do you say? ¿Cómo se dice basketball?
Baloncesto.
Yeah. Wow. How'd you know that?
Because I speak Spanish. Y'all mad.
It's his
Y'all
girl.
mad.
It's his girl, bro.
What?
His girl be teaching him.
Grr.
Y'all be having Turin date sessions?
Grr.
They be
That's cool.
speaking Spanish the whole entire time.
Grr.
Dang. All right. Next one. ¿Cómo se dice tray?
I don't know this one.
Do you know it, Julie? Or is it going to be a unanimous skip?
If you give me the first letter, I might know.
I was gonna be like trasero.
Is it a T? First letter?
It's a B.
Tray?
Tray. Tray.
Tray? Ice tray?
Not Trey Young.
Nah, I actually don't know.
Not Trey Williams.
Baldon?
Baloron?
I don't know.
Tell me. No. Skip.
Yeah, skip. I don't know.
It's bandeja.
Oh,
Bandeja.
bandeja.
I wouldn't have known that.
Ooh, this one I'm interested to see. I feel like Julie might get this one, but ¿cómo se dice password?
Huh?
Password.
Password?
Password.
Password?
I heard password.
I was like, what?
Man, fuck you guys.
This doesn't work if he doesn't speak good English either.
Contraseña. Contraseña.
Yeah, you do. You do. Yeah, Julie got it. You see, that's what you get for laughing at me, bro.
She didn't know either.
I said it.
Password.
I heard password.
You guys
I
are
was like,
fucked up.
password?
You guys have clearly never worked with immigrant workers, bro. That's how they be speaking. That's how they be speaking English.
Password.
It doesn't work though if you don't speak good English either.
That's fucked
You're
up.
but you're supposed to do the accent. Password.
You know, I
Guess the
remember.
password.
I remember somebody said fucking.
What?
Someone commented once and said that like this guy confuses me. He speaks an accent when he has an accent when he speaks Spanish and he has an accent when he speaks English. And I was like, that's
Wait,
fucked
like
up.
you have an English accent? when you
Yeah,
speak Spanish?
apparently I-
You have a Spanish accent when you speak English?
Apparently I do.
That's
Is
what.
that true?
I
Do I
don't
have an
know,
accent
but
when
I
I'm-
feel like I've known you long enough to maybe I'm desensitized to it.
Yeah, maybe. Do I have an English accent?
I don't know.
Speak Spanish.
Because I always.
No, I for sure have an accent when I speak Spanish.
Speak
but
Spanish though, like I gotta hear it.
Hola, me llamo Steve.
Yeah.
Buenos días.
Yeah, I see. I hear it.
¿Cómo estás? No, estoy bien.
I don't know about
Estoy
that.
jugando I was gonna say.
You know, now
Un
that,
poquito.
now that I'm really listening to it, maybe you do have a little bit of an accent when you speak English.
Yo Sabo, ¿tú sabes? Hoy vamos a fugar el fuego Yo Sabo.
Fuga.
Fugar.
Fugar. Fugazi.
Fugazi.
So
Fugazi.
fugazi is fugazi.
So I have an accent when I speak English too.
Maybe a bit.
Man, that's embarrassing.
But I don't know. I don't know that it's like influenced by Spanish. I think
At
that's
least I
just,
can
like-
use the excuse of like
I think it's just how you talk.
if I ever flub a word, I'm like English isn't my first language. Same thing with Spanish.
There you go.
I'm basically absolved of ever speaking fucked up languages.
Password.
Password.
I can't really get it. If my dad said that, I would have understood what he said. ¿Cómo se dice cabbage?
Oh, repollo.
Wow. Yeah, bro. Cheater.
What?
It's okay. It's okay. I already forgave you.
Grr.
¿Cómo se dice fountain?
Fuente?
Wow.
He just wants me to lose. That's why.
This one's too easy.
No.
Yeah.
All right, skip
all
it
right.
then. Skip it then.
This one's too easy.
What was it?
¿Cómo se dice pregnant?
Embarazada.
That was a tie anyway, so you.
So we both would have got a point?
Prueba time. Nah, I'm just kidding.
What is it? Just
You-
for funsies. What is
Okay, what
Sorrillo.
is it for free?
it? For free. What is it?
You sorry. Prueba time. What is the name of the famous after-school show that also revolves around high school?
Rebelde.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I know. You wouldn't have gotten it.
That's my point.
What?
That's crazy.
We'll have
No,
we'll
what's
have
with-
freebie points.
What's with all these added rules?
All right, ¿cómo se
That's
dice?
because that means that's
They're-
because I'm more cultured than you.
They're working together to make me lose. Oh, actually, like,
You're literally
nah,
like,
you guys were the kids in school who were like, no, actually, I'm unfrozen, bro.
actually, there's a rule if
No,
I wear shoes.
I said time out before you tag me.
There's a rule that you can't tag me if you tag me in the last game.
Yeah.
¿Cómo se dice rainbow?
Arco iris.
Fuck.
Why you mad?
Because I had that one.
I don't get mad like that.
¿Cómo se dice flip?
Fuck, I don't know.
You do though.
Voltaire?
Wow,
It's
Well,
voltear.
yeah, but I mean, he said
It's
it.
voltear.
I just
don't know.
pronounced it
No,
differently.
that's my point.
I just pronounced
That's
it
my
differently.
point.
Nah.
That's my
I just
point.
I don't know,
pronounced it
but didn't
differently.
you get it because he said it?
Nah,
I feel like-
Okay,
think
but
I
that was
deserve
the last
But,
two.
that
This
one's
is
invalid.
This is kangaroo court. Nah. I deserve that. I just pronounced it differently.
No.
I just pronounced it
But the
differently.
game's about pronouncing it right.
Nah. Whatever. You said password though. Why am I?
Password.
Why
I would have got it.
Why am
right.
I being punished? Nah, that's my point.
Okay, fine.
No, that's mine.
No,
I
I
said
said
it.
I
You
literally-
said it
I'll
wrong.
give you
I
guys.
just
Okay.
pronounced it
Wait. We'll give you guys half points. each.
What? That's
I'm sorry.
insane.
I'm sorry.
They're working against
I'm
me to
sorry.
make me lose.
You guys are gonna argue
It's
if I
just,
don't.
it's just a bad image if I win.
You're only one.
It's just a bad image for them if I win.
You're 1.5 points away, bro.
I should be 1 point period.
What does a half point even matter? It's not like what others
Nah,
count.
it's just a bad image.
¿Cómo se dice mailbox?
Fuck, I don't know.
Correo.
No, that's I think mail.
Letero?
No,
What's the first letter?
B.
Mailbox?
Baletero?
You said mailbox?
Yeah. And no, to what you said.
Let me just use Google Translate.
If you guys want skip.
Skip. Yeah.
Alright,
I
skip.
can get it. What was
It
it?
was Buson.
Buzon?
Bulson. Bulson?
Buzon.
Buzon?
B-U-Z.
Oh.
Oh, with the accent.
I bet you if she said Bulzon, y'all would have gave it to her.
What?
Why'd you skip that one?
It's not an actual card.
I mean,
Oh.
it technically is.
It totally is, but it was
we're not
but-
playing with it.
Yeah, it is. But it's not the game we're playing. ¿Cómo se dice? I want to give you guys hard ones because these are
What? He's like, oh, which one would Brandon not know?
All right, fine. The first one, so you know I didn't cheat. ¿Cómo se dice ankle?
Rodillo?
No.
Tobillo?
Yeah, Julie got it.
Fuck.
Tobillo. If you lose, I'm gonna laugh, bro.
Which? Because y'all
You're
cheated.
way ahead. I didn't cheat.
Y'all cheated.
You're just projecting.
Nah,
Because you always be cheating.
He didn't actually say it. No, I
¿Cómo se
said it.
dice clothes hanger?
Oh,
Gancho.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
Y'all are fucked
It's
up.
all tied up.
It shouldn't be. It actually shouldn't be.
¿Cómo se dice barrier?
Barrier?
Yeah.
I actually don't know this one. Barrier? Like a physical barrier?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Do you know Julia or Skip?
I'm trying to think.
She's reaching to the deepest
No.
parts of her
It's-
brain.
wait. First letter. How about first letter?
B.
Barrera?
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a half point for that one though.
She won
What?
though. Nah, she won.
No, I'm gonna give you a
What?
half point for no, because technically she still needs one more half point.
Nah, she
Yeah.
won.
No, it's not over yet. Even if she gets that one, it was a full point of that one. Yeah. You need a half point, so you need one more.
Should
You-
be two more, but whatever.
Okay. ¿Cómo se dice wound?
I don't know.
Cicatriz?
No.
That's a
Wound?
scar, huh? It's a scar.
Wound? I don't know. Corta? I don't know.
You guys don't know? Skip.
For me, yeah, I don't know.
What does it start with?
H.
Herida?
Yeah.
Damn. It's all right. The refs won this one. Ref jerseys.
If you had gotten a half point, you would have hit the 10.
Yeah, it's all right. The refs won this one. Jordan pushed
that
off.
one. That one will be on Sports Center, like greatest bullshit finishes.
Yeah, I agree. The NBA just thought it'd be a bad look.
you guys
if
had
I won.
you guys had a great game.
I got a bonus point.
Here, look let's do a sudden death.
Nah.
One card to end it all.
Sorrillo.
Zorio.
One card. To
It
end
was.
all.
Esconca.
No, it wasn't.
Relampago. Primavera.
¿Cómo se dice stapler?
Fuck, I should know this. Stapler.
No, that's el stapler.
The stapler.
¿Dónde está el stapler? My dad says el stapler.
First letter.
E. It's really hard. Stapler.
I've heard it before.
It's really hard. I don't think.
Estaplador.
No. I will say you kind of were close though, but it's not close enough to give you the point.
Estaplidera.
Estapla.
No.
Estapla.
Estaplidera. I don't know.
Engrapador.
Oh.
Eddie.
Well, that was Yo Sabo the game.
Wait,
Make sure
what are? Give me a couple. Just for funsies.
Okay.
Give me a couple of the like.
he refuses to lose.
No. I
The
just-
prueba ones?
Yeah, I want.
Yeah.
I'm curious about those because you never played those.
Breva.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see.
Breva time. What's the punishment? Like, what happens? Like,
They
kill me?
I think yeah. You get fucking.
and then what are the chancla ones?
You get hit with the chancla, bro.
Really?
The chancla one, yeah.
Someone's supposed to hit you with the
Someone's
chancla?
supposed to hit you as hard
That's
as they
really-
can.
That's really brutal. I'm surprised, Yo Sabo. I'm gonna pitch y'all an idea. Why don't y'all get? You know how people do like the pizza slap? I mean the tortilla slap. Why don't you do that with like a chancla or some shit
Oh, that's true.
for the breva time?
I guess because like,
Pay me for that idea though.
oh, there you go. Preba time. When your mom says no to something, what is the next move?
Ask dad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
What? I feel like this.
What is the name of the way some Latinos borrow money that does not involve a bank?
IOU? I don't know. Under the table.
Do you know?
They just take it from the wallet.
They say
Birthday parties.
tanda or condina? Condina? Dame más que.
What?
Dame más que. Preba time. Dame más que.
Dame más que.
Dame más que.
Dame. Is this like a reference to something?
Yeah. Dame más. que.
Gasolina.
There you
I was
go.
like,
Dame más
I thought that guy was a
gasolina.
Mexican. I thought he was.
It's Latinos, bro. When did this game say that this is only for Mexicans? Excuse you? And I
That's
want you to
That
apologize
should be
right now.
that should be part of the ad. It's not just for Mexicans.
I don't think they need to explicitly say that.
But
it's made by Mexicans, but
That should be part of the ad. It's not just for Mexicans. You're wild for that one. All right, guys. That was Yo Sabo the game.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. That was a lot of fun. You guys should get your set at the links below at yosabo.com. At Yosabo on
do they
Instagram.
have a second edition yet, or are they still
they-
cooking that up in the lab?
They are cooking it up in the lab. They're constantly improving it though. So if
There's-
you guys are excited, they have
There's
holiday packs.
Yeah, extension packs, holiday packs. We got a couple.
Yeah.
But it's not the holidays right now.
Yeah,
so.
and they also have ones specifically designed for doctors and
They should have.
medicinal persons.
They should have a food one.
They should have.
They should have a food one.
They should
Hey,
have a
come
food
on, Yo Sabo.
Yeah,
Partnership, man.
Sabo, come on,
Pay us for that.
pay us for these ideas.
These ideas.
we got more.
A food,
Oh.
yeah, but
Let me come up with an idea for Yo Sabo right now. You guys should do a monopoly Yo Sabo. Mm-hmm. Pay me.
I say a food one. I say maybe no food.
Oh.
Food
like a cholo one. What do you call preba time? What do most cholos wear on their feet?
Socks? I don't know.
That's a good one, but no.
Cortezes.
Yes, sir. You guys both know. All right. Well, getting into the meat,
Getting into the podcast.
getting into the actual podcast.
The
Enough
meat.
bullshitting, guys.
Damn.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Enough being silly.
That's crazy, bro.
Julie, what did you bring for this week?
Well, today
Can I have a pen?
Oh yeah, sorry.
I wanted us to talk about because
Yeah.
we watched it. I think we watched it together. The
Yeah.
Quiet on the Set.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think about that?
That's crazy. It felt incomplete to me in some way. I felt like there's a lot left to discover, but I don't know if that's because obviously they always talk about Hollywood. There's like a lot of pedophiles and stuff. But I felt like it was incomplete in two aspects. One, the Amanda Bynes like portion of it. I felt like there wasn't enough for me to really like make a conclusion as to like what exactly happened to her, because clearly something did.
Yeah.
But I just wonder what's her story. And did you guys hear? She said that she'll never be on it.
Why?
I think she is just. She said that something that when they asked her to be on the show, that her body literally like shut down. Yeah,
That's
she's very traumatized by her time in Nickelodeon, so she never wants to be on it. And so because of that, I felt like it was incomplete. And I felt like there needed to be more accountability from the adults that were interviewed.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna blame them because I don't blame anybody who's in that situation. But it felt like there were certain pieces of it where I felt like it didn't have a conclusion as to like what's next. But maybe that's just me. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, it's good for what it does. It brings the light to something.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's good that there's attention on it now, you know, and that these people got to share their stories and potentially hold all these people accountable. Because based on what I was saying, most of these people just got like a slap on the wrist, if that at all. So that was, I'm glad to see that. I'm glad that people are getting called out, you know, like James Marsden, how he like signed
crazy.
A lot of people in Hollywood who signed letters of support for that,
Brian Peck.
asshole. Yeah. One thing though that I will say that I found that I wish I guess they had spent more time on. I wish they had spent more time on that. Like Brian Peck or the other guy, what was his name? We saw it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
by the time you see it, it'll be like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's true. The other dude, right? Who he was like a PA, right?
Yeah, he was also a
pedophile.
pedophile. I wish they had focused more time on that. I feel like for sure Dan Snyder sounds like a piece of shit, but outside of him being like an asshole and like hard to work with, I felt like he got more time dedicated to him than these monsters did.
Yeah, because I think what Dan Schneider did is wrong, but it like the other people literally did horrendous, illegal activities that I felt like deserved more focus. That's not to make
light of
like
what he did.
And obviously what Dan Schneider did is wrong, especially with how he paid 2 women to share the same salary. Yeah, like that's all fucked up. But I felt like there was something missing from the documentary, and I'm not the only one who shared that sentiment. I've seen a good amount of criticism from people online saying that the documentary feels as though it's kind of saying this happened and now we can move on, you know, like, and I don't think that's true. It's really just the tip of the iceberg as to what kind of brutalities have happened to childhood stars. Because to me, the biggest thing, and I'm sure you guys remember this part, was when they showed that Brian Peck worked with Leonardo DiCaprio. And Leonardo DiCaprio is known for only ever dating women who are 25 or younger. And this isn't to imply, or I mean, I guess it is implying, but I don't mean it to make light of the situation. But a lot of people can theorize that there's some trauma there. Allegedly, I'm not going to say that there is. But I think pointing, like exposing the situation is one thing, but I feel like there was something missing from the documentary for me. Like this isn't to discredit any of the horrendous things that they brought up, because the fact that Drake Bell was able to come on it and finally say his story and say his piece, to me, I feel like deserved a lot more recognition. Like it almost felt like the documentary should have been more focused on that, because he's a victim and he's speaking out his truth. But I don't know if that's just like me and like my own personal perspective on it. Like I don't know, I just because I've seen other documentaries, and there was something about the Nickelodeon one that was just rubbing me the wrong way. Like one other thing that people bring up was the mom who was talking about her daughter who got abused. Do you know who I'm talking about? I think Brandy. A lot of people brought up like, how come Brandy wasn't on it, and like how come her mom's on it, and how come they don't explain like exactly what the connection is? Because it seems very vague, and it almost seems as though she's exposing her story without her consent. So there's just a lot of like holes in the documentary that I need to be filled in order for me to really feel like this is something that can't happen again. Because I think that it's not mutually exclusive. Like, I don't think that just because I criticize the documentary means that all their points are invalidated. I don't think so. I think you can criticize a documentary even if it's trying to do something that's good. But yeah, that's my opinions on it.
Yeah. Well, I heard that there's another episode that's going to come out next month. But I feel like I agree to what you're saying, because I feel like I think one of the biggest things for sure that I took away from that, or like people should kind of take away from that, is that there should be a lot more protection against like kids who want to get into the industry. Because I feel like I feel like that's something you've probably heard, especially with kids being overworked a lot within like the industry. And I feel like that's something that should be I guess, kind of taken away to kind of implement new policies for them and kind of just have regulations on that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the takeaway I had is I think there needs to be like in the same way that there was a lot of call for the industry to take action about AI and pay and stuff. I really think that there should be something done about like the conditions kids work under, and I don't even just mean like them being overworked. Obviously, that's a problem. But I mean like safety regulations. Like me and Steve used to do a bunch of PA sets. Like we'd help, right?
Yeah.
And if there was anything ever involving a weapon or like the idea of a weapon, at least the sets we were on took it extremely seriously.
Yeah.
I remember we did like one where, was it a gun or was it like a knife or something? Either way, the scene called for a weapon, and they had this, I forget what the proper name is, props guy, whatever.
Yeah.
He gave this giant speech to the whole crew. He was supervising the whole thing, making sure like, because that's happened in the industry, right? Like The Crow, right? Brandon Lee, where he accidentally shot himself with a prop gun. And then recently with Alec Baldwin, you know, there's cases where, you know, the safety is not handled correctly, but generally speaking, that's something the industry has like they focus on it. You know, they have people there to prevent that kind of stuff. And I really think that the industry should have like, I don't know what it looks like. Maybe there's like representatives there, people, agents, you know, child protective services there, monitoring the situation all the time. Because I do find it really weird that there's kids alone with these people like all the time. And even if there's nothing weird, like you trust these people no matter what, I still think that should just be second, like completely just known, you know? There should be someone there whose sole purpose is to make sure that these kids are safe. Because, you know, we saw in the documentary, like a lot of these parents are naive to the industry, right?
Yeah.
And these people take advantage of that. They're like, oh, well, your kid needs to do this and you can't be here. Like, you know, shit, like they take advantage of that. So I really wish, or I think the industry should take some serious steps in that direction of providing safety for kids.
Yeah. Do you guys also think that parents should, like, if a kid wants to be an actor, the parent should like really try to be there a lot, or should they be dependent on like finding those people who provide, I guess, those services?
No, I think it's the responsibility as a parent that if your kid wants to be an actor, it's your responsibility to make sure that they're safe and protected. It's the same with anything else. If a kid wants to be an athlete, you got to make sure that he's taking care of himself and that he doesn't get hurt. And when he does get hurt, he gets the proper procedures to either like rest or whatever. If he gets a fucked up limb, you know, heals it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I was say, because I feel like I talked about this with like my friends and my coworkers, and a lot of us were just like, as if I were to be a parent, I don't think I would ever think about leaving my kid by himself, like at all. Like, no way. If he wants to be there, like if he wants to act, if he wants to do all these things, like I feel like I would never leave his sight, like at all. Like, I don't care if he's like, you know, like 15, like I'm still gonna be there until I feel like he's like mature enough to, I guess, take care of himself and be on his own. Because I feel like, I think for me, the thought that I also think of is that if it's like an 8-year-old to like a 12-year-old, I'm like, I don't ever feel like I want to leave like my kid, or like I don't want him to be out of sight, you know, in those situations, right? And so then to me, that's why I'm like, so then should you be trusting of like other services, or should I as a parent be more responsible with my kid and being there for him? So if he wants to be an actor, should I also be like, okay, then I also have to make these sacrifices of having my time at these sets with him, you know? Because that's what I think of. And I feel like I think about it a lot, mostly because you hear it in like, in that aspect of how we heard it with like Drake Bell and all the other kids that were in Nickelodeon. But you also hear it a lot with like the parents not being there, right? But you also hear it in when the whole thing with R. Kelly happened. And a lot of the parents also let their daughters like hang out with him, and they thought it was okay because, you know, he's an artist, right? Like, what is he going to do, right? But it's just like how it just seems very like irresponsible to just leave them like by themselves and kind of just fend for themselves in certain things.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, I agree. I definitely agree that your parents, that if you're a parent, it's your responsibility to take care of your kids. I also don't, I want to tread lightly because I also don't want to blame the parents,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I think one thing the documentary highlights is that a lot of producers can be very manipulative
Yeah.
Yeah.
and can convince you that the only way for your child to succeed as an actor is to take them under the wing of whoever adult
Yeah.
person works in the industry.
Yeah.
So because it's so easy to just blame
Yeah.
parents,
No,
you know?
for sure. But I and to add to that, I think people need to also start calling this what it is, which is it's kids working, you know? Kids are working, like it's a job, you know? And I think that there's a lot of I don't know. I just, because it's not, I don't know. I guess for me, it's like, it's kids working. So it's kind of already like a tough area. And I think a lot of people take advantage of those tough areas, you know? And I genuinely think there should be laws now put in place. I feel like there's too much now that's come out that's at this point, to me, I'm just like, well, it seems like we need more monitoring and more regulation.
Yeah.
Like, I think, I don't, and this isn't to say, like you said, I tread lightly. I'm not blaming the parents, but I do think at this point, no matter what the scene is, a parent should be present. Like, I think that should be required by law. Like, no, you need to have a legal guardian there within, I don't know, a certain foot radius.
Yeah.
And then I think they should also have, like I said, like how they have stunt coordinators or safety or medical. They should have, like, a child services person, like, there constantly checking in on the kids. Because at this point, it almost seems like just the way the documentary presented a lot of this stuff, it seemed, I'm not saying this is what it is, but it almost seemed at a certain point that the studio at the time was just a factory for grooming kids or taking advantage of children.
Yeah.
You know, under the guise of producing stuff for kids, you know? And that's why I'm like, at this point, I don't think I can trust the energy. I don't think the industry should be trusted like that.
Yeah.
I think they've foregone any trust given to them by any capacity, you know?
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, I don't know how if you're somebody who has a kid and that kid wants to grow up and be an actor, I don't know how you ever have the confidence that something isn't going to happen.
At this point, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if you could be the most vigilant parent, I feel like I would live with the paranoia of, like, there's so many cases now of kids being just taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Because beyond Nickelodeon, this has been an open secret. Most people know that.
Since the dawn of time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
child actors grow up and become some of the most unhinged, like, what do you even call them?
They're extremely troubled. A lot of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, because I don't want to also demonize them.
Yeah.
Because it's not their fault. And I hate that. I hate that because I see it a little bit of people blaming the kids. Like, at some point, you got to take responsibility for your actions. And okay, that can be true to an extent.
Yeah.
But I think that you don't realize how strong things that happen in your childhood still stick with you till you get older. And I know that's true for me. I'm sure there's shit. Not even I'm sure. I know there's shit that affected me when I was a kid
Yeah.
that is still hard to overcome, despite how somebody who never lived through that can be like, what, bro? Like, just get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's extremely, extremely difficult, especially when it's at the severity that somebody like Drake Bell went through. Like, and I know everybody's giving him the pass because of, like, he's been in his own hot water and now it explains his actions. I think that, like, again, most things are not mutually exclusive. I think that you can understand Drake Bell and empathize with what happened to him as a kid, but still hold him accountable for his actions as an adult.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying, like, oh my God, fuck Drake Bell, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's crazy that people so easily forgot about it too. And I get it because I empathize with him more. I can't imagine what that's like to go through as a fucking child, as a 15-year-old boy. Who already, like, you remember being 15, bro? Being 15 fucking was, like, crazy, bro.
Yeah.
You were transitioning from being a kid to basically being a young adult.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine having gone through that much traumatic events, like, how that affected you. But
Yeah. And I think, I guess for me, it's just the lack of, I'm appalled by how there was almost zero consequence to anybody
Yeah.
involved. Like Brian Pick only did 16 months in prison, and
That's crazy, yeah.
And
And
Drake couldn't even speak. That kind of floored me. How he couldn't even
Couldn't talk about it.
he just totally understandable. You know,
Yeah.
how he just was there. Like I can't even say it. And then they show what obviously the court case is and what he did, and it's monstrous. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's insane. I think there's literally, I just don't understand how the entertainment industry has gets such a blind eye and such a pass to everything. Like I don't get how that happens.
The specifically what happened with Drake Bell, it gives me vibes of like, how do you not just tear everything down and start over? And obviously the Hollywood's never gonna do that, but
Yeah.
at least it feels as though there's no way you can ever recover from having that happen under your watch.
But even then, like I just even mean like, aside from like, I don't understand how even support like. How he got support, like, and the judge was like, all right, just 16 months. 16 months is insane. Yeah. That guy should be doing life.
Yeah.
Like, he should never see the light of day.
For the amount of things that he did.
For the amount of things that he did, and then the amount of success he had after. Like, he worked with Disney. I think I saw people, like, looking at his IMDb, and he had credits up to, like, 2016.
Yeah.
Like, he was actively working on a lot of stuff. So, I don't know. That's just insane to me. How the entertainment industry is just... Yeah. I guess it gives me the vibe that the entertainment industry is just a cesspool of this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Where not everybody, but a good amount of people have that background. Mm-hmm. So they kind of...
Or if you didn't do it or you weren't involved in it, you've at least heard of cases and have probably never spoken about them.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I find it really insane.
Well, everybody's talking about what the documentary is and like the repercussions of it. But I think one point that I find the most interesting, and I'm interested to hear your guys' perspective on it, is how the general audience has reacted to the documentary. Because there's certain aspects of it that I find are particularly interesting. Yeah. Specifically when it comes around like Jerry Trainor.
Yeah.
For sure. Or the way that people are now pointing out like, oh, the Nickelodeon logo is in the shape of the Epstein Island. You know, have you seen those?
Yeah. I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I think for me, there's a lot of stuff that upsets me about that because I find it like you guys are going in the wrong direction. Like, focus on what's real and what we have facts on. We have facts that, you know, there's just written facts, you know? And I feel like, to me, when people are like, oh, the slime can be CGI'd, or the fucking the Epstein Island is the logo because Cat Williams said it offhand, you know?
Or Jerry Trainor
is such a hero because he kind of just didn't react to Dan Schneider's joke. I'm kind of like, stop romanticizing it,
right?
You know, even if it's not an ideal romanticism, they're making it like it's this mystique like thing where I'm like, you guys at this point aren't even focusing on the stuff, and I'm like, that's why nothing really ever changes, because it's like, oh, all that stuff happened, but look at this stuff that you know, this other stuff, you know. And I'm like, okay, let's focus back on what's going on. And with Jerry Trainor, like, he showed his support. That's like, I'm not calling him out, or I don't think he, you know, whatever. But I think it's really weird how everybody's like, oh, he's such a hero, this, and that. And they're basically like writing fan fictions about the guy.
But he had never spoken out beforehand. Yeah. He had never gone out and said something about that directly.
That was, I guess, my thing, where I'm just like, all of a sudden, now that there's this documentary, all of a sudden people are doing something like, oh, like, these actors are unfollowing like Nickelodeon or some shit. But it's just like, they still don't speak out. They still haven't like, because I feel like at that point you guys can gather evidence and actually like put down what's going on, you know? And like, especially like, I guess on Nickelodeon, it's like they haven't done anything. Yeah. Like, they haven't done anything to them of like how they're gonna hold everybody else accountable that has done those things, you know? Because they were in charge of that, you know? And it's just like, there's nothing that's being done, at least to anyone, you know? Yeah. Like, nobody's being held accountable. And I think people kind of having, like, those, I guess, conspiracy theories of, like, oh, the island and this. I don't know how true that is. But to me, I'm just, like, it's taking away from what's actually happening. Yeah. Of, like, kids are being taken advantage of. And, like, and just a lot of people are being taken advantage of in the industry. And it's like, but nothing is being done about it.
Yeah.
You know.
And I guess also with Jerry Trainor, I really am not trying to call him. I don't like, I have no malicious, like, it's just more a response to the reaction of him. Where I guess for me, it's also like, he also did the reboot of iCarly. And there's a prominent star of iCarly who has been for a few years now, been extremely vocal about how horrible her experience was on that set. I'm talking about Jeanette McCurdy, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I'm just kind of like, well, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
let's not get too hasty about who's a hero, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I'm glad he's showing his support and all that. But
Mhm.
if you, like, I saw this one TikTok where it's like, people, you don't know these people. Like, we don't know them at all.
Yeah.
Like, we know nothing other than what they choose to present and the characters that they play, you know? So don't, I guess to me, just don't go far off on that to where you lose the power to hold the actual people accountable and stick with the facts. You know, that's why I really dislike conspiracy theories, because it's like one thing can be true, right? But then everybody goes off on this tangent about a million other things that possibly could be true, but we have no idea. And I think at that point, it's more just like people get run away with the mystique and the fantasy of it all, that they completely just, it goes over their head, the stuff that's written down. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's written down that you don't need to completely fantasize, like Brian Peck, or that he's alive and well, and he's you know, he's didn't do any prison time, nobody held him accountable. Has Nickelodeon even said anything? Has anybody been like, oh, maybe we should just stop watching, like, you know?
Well, this is the thing about that, is that the reason why people suddenly attaching all these other things that are allegedly true, or theorizing or bringing up rumors of like, oh, the feet thing, or this could really mean the slime meant cum shot and all this other stuff, is that it lessens the value of things that actually happened. Because if everything else is alleged, people will associate the real world repercussions of what happened to Brian Peck and all the other people who actually got confronted in the documentary. And they're like, well, the Epstein Island in the Nickelodeon logo seems like bullshit, so maybe the other thing is bullshit. It just lessens that value because it lessens the value of the truth. And the truth will always trump anything that is just allegedly or rumored. And even with the Jerry Trainor thing, like, we're not trying to, and I'm not trying to do the opposite now. Like, I'm not trying to, oh, Jerry Trainor never spoke up, so clearly exactly. He was, like, accepting it, right? Because that's the same thing as saying, like, no, he tried to protect the kids with his body language. It just, like, fantasy. Just, people are just writing fan fiction. Like, that's not true. There's nothing that Jerry Trainor has never publicly said that. And I'm not shitting on him. I'm not calling him out. But I'm saying that I think that people are bringing those things up because they want to somehow salvage any joy that they had from Nickelodeon. People love these shows. That's just what it is, and it's fine. Like, I don't know have the answer of whether or not you could still enjoy these shows. If you want to enjoy them, enjoy them. But I think that it's all coming from that people love these shows and they were a big part of their childhood. So to try and spin a narrative where at least like, oh, Spencer was cool, I could still watch iCarly and be like, Spencer was really cool. But Dan Schneider was in charge of all those shows. You can't watch iCarly, Drake and Josh, Zoe 101 without seeing his presence within all those shows. It's always said Dan Schneider is in there. Dan Schneider stars in almost every single one of those shows and special episodes.
He comes out as Michelle Obama's Secret Service. You know?
Yeah, so I'm not saying that you can't enjoy those shows, but I think that part of defending Jerry Trainor and spinning all these other fan fictions is an attempt to try and save something that meant a lot to people.
No, for sure. Give it a positive light. Well, it wasn't all bad, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't all bad, so I can feel good about it. And like I said, I think you could still enjoy it, or I don't know, maybe the answer is out there. I don't know if you can or cannot. But I don't want to vilify anybody who does bring the joy, because I imagine it's hurtful for you too. And we don't feel the same hurt as the kid actors who actually got abused. But as kids watching a show that featured a lot of kids that were going through abuse, it hurts. It hurts. And people are trying so closely to clam on to anything to try and just save our quote unquote childhoods, right? Because we enjoyed these shows. I remember watching iCarly as a kid and fucking loving it, thinking it was funny. I remember Gibby was like my fan favorite character. You know, but it's one thing to look back and mourn something you thought was so innocent, and it's another thing to just make up stories to try and somehow still be like, it's okay that all these abuses and scandals happen behind the scenes, because at least, you know, we have the hero Jerry Trainor, or we have the hero and all these other stars. Like I saw another one for Henry Danger, the main guy. Yeah, like it's like it's okay, it wasn't all bad, you know. And
which guy?
There's another show. It's past our time.
Yeah, it's past our time. Henry Danger. It was the last Dan Schneider show before he got fired.
There's an adult. It's like a superhero show.
Yeah.
And the adult people. I guess people were doing that for him. Yeah. I haven't seen it just because I had never saw it. I wasn't past my time. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like I think people are very much super attached to these shows because I mean, for sure, like we watched these shows and they were funny. They were fun to like watch. Like I for sure have the same thing of like it just like for sure watching these I can't help but think of the things that they were going through though at the time that they were making the shows. But I feel like for sure I think a lot of people just have a lot of attachment to them. I mean, of course, like we grew up watching them and like they probably have significant moments for us, you know. And I think a lot of people are probably very much affected by that and don't know how to like process that part. And I guess they kind of process it by saying like, oh no, but there was this part that like this was happening.
I don't think it's conscious either.
Yeah, for sure. But one thing I wanted to bring up, which I've seen as well, because obviously now that everybody's kind of taking the piss out on Nickelodeon, they're bringing up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things that I saw recently was, have you guys ever seen the SpongeBob leaks, the leak storyboards?
Yeah.
Did you see them when they came out, or did you see them recently?
I saw them recently when obviously all the Nickelodeon stuff came out.
I guess in a couple years ago, it leaked that in the early 2000s of SpongeBob, the animators would draw really crude like storyboards of SpongeBob for fun, like, and it's called Behind Closed Doors. It was like basically like a book where they would literally have the drawings behind the closed door, so when you closed it, you couldn't see it. So when kids or people would come in, they wouldn't see. But it's basically pornographic images of SpongeBob, and they're like, you know, just SpongeBob in like obviously extremely sexual or not appropriate for children situations. And I remember I just saw this part off TikTok that the person who leaked them said that they deliberately left out some of them because they were so obscene that they were just like, geez, that's already enough.
Yeah.
But you can see them online. Like it's SpongeBob with like, you know, his parts and shit.
Yeah.
Or characters having sex or that kind of stuff. And obviously that's weird.
Yeah.
But I guess the part that I found a little weird was I feel like I've seen a lot of people not defend it, but kind of be a little nonchalant about it. Like the only reason I really ever saw it come up was I saw like 4 or 5 creators being like, stop acting like this is as bad as the other stuff. And like them just drawing crude images, like animators do that all the time. And this isn't anywhere near on the same level as abusing children. And yeah, I agree. I don't think it's as bad as abusing children, but I think it's really weird that I still think it's weird. Like, I think that the two can be the same. Like, you can have one really wrong thing and still have other really wrong things. Yeah. And I just personally find it really weird that everybody's just kind of focusing on that, that it's not as bad. But I still think it's strange that that's the vibe the company has, that this is a company dedicated to children, and the vibe that they have is like they abuse kids. And then the animators of SpongeBob is arguably one of the most iconic shows of all time. Yeah. Like, period. And I think it's really weird that the animators were just kind of like drawing porn all the time. Yeah. Like, if you translate that to any other job, any other workplace, that's like, you'd get fired. Yeah. Like, that's not appropriate. Like, imagine if any office you were passing around porn or just drawing porn all day. You'd get fired. You'd see human resources, whatever. And I think it's really weird that this company that's supposed to be, you know, friendly and that just has that like energy, and that they're welcoming it and okay with that. That's why I'm just kind of like, I don't know how this relates in what you were bringing up.
I think it does.
But I mean, like, to the point you were making I guess in that same vein, I feel like people are trying to like hold on, but I genuinely think that should be talked about a little bit more. Obviously, I really still think we should focus on the people who are abused and like getting rid of that. But I do still think that's really strange. And it's kind of like
that there's kind of like these kind of like sick and twisted people
yeah, like
that work
that
for
exactly. Like why are these the people that work there?
yeah
That they're abusers, pedophiles, and people who
Perverts.
perverts. Yeah. That's why I'm like, why is that okay? Like why?
Well, because they brought this is in my opinion, but this is what it would be: is that they brought joy and they brought they brought finances to Nickelodeon and they brought joy to a lot of the main audience. So a lot of people, especially because SpongeBob debuted in 1999, it's a pivotal part of not only people's lives but of our culture.
Yeah,
and I think people want to so easily excuse like the creators because it's that age-old argument of separate the art from the artist.
Yeah,
That's what it is. I don't know if I agree with that. That's just what I think.
that's why
is
people
the
are doing that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because I think, well, from the brief stuff I've read, this is the old crew, so I guess they can't, like,
Mhm.
But I do still think that they should answer for that a little bit. At least Nickelodeon, that they kind of were okay with that, because from the brief stuff I've read, they kind of thought this was like a fun thing.
yeah
And like, I don't know, like they bring in kids to have tours and like, oh, don't open that door because there's a bunch of porn there. I think that's really weird. I don't know. Like, I think you said it really well, that I think it's strange that this company is just so comfortable having all these perverts running around. And then I saw a bunch of people being like, oh my gosh, like animators do this all the time. It's just normal. And I'm like, yes.
Is it really?
Just because.
even weirder.
Well, I guess
it's even weirder the fact that you guys are like, oh, but everybody does this.
But even if that's true or not, like, I don't know if that's true because I don't. Yes, that makes it okay. Everybody does it. That's why it's okay. Like, I don't know. What a bullshit argument. What a fucking bullshit argument, you know?
Yeah.
I think, you want to speak, Julia, or you want me to speak? 'Cause
I'm just like,
I got some things to say.
I'm just like, at least I will say one thing before you say that. I'm just like, it's just like, it just seems so dark where it's just like, you guys make things for kids, and a lot of like, I guess your audience is kids for sure. But then it's also like a lot of the kids that work, or a lot of the people that work for you are kids. Yeah. And I'm just like, how is it that like the people who produce these things and make and animate all of these like scenes are very dark and twisted? Like, it just seems very like, I don't know. It just seems like, to me, it just gives me like ill vibes. Like, I'm just like, this is gross. Like, this is gross to know that these are the people who are behind creating these things that are for kids, and I feel like it's just like, and nobody gets held accountable for those things, or people just kind of like are like, no, but like everybody does it, like,
or it's just silly, like, we're just having fun.
We're just having fun, but it's just like, no, but like, it, like how you said, like if you were to do this at an actual workplace, that wouldn't be appropriate. And I just feel like, why is it that like there isn't that same thing for like the film industry or even for like the music industry? Like, why is it so easy to just brush off, but that's
well, so this relates to a couple of things that I've seen around the internet. The few people who do defend Nickelodeon, and I say few because I don't think I've ever really seen somebody who does. But I'm sure there's a bigger audience defending SpongeBob because SpongeBob has a huge fan base. I think that where things come wrong, because I'll say this, it wasn't wrong of Nickelodeon to at first hire somebody like Brian Peck or these other guys, because at the time they weren't registered sex offenders and they had no idea that was going to happen. That's not where they're at fault, but they're at fault for creating a workplace of inappropriateness. And you see that with Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider said that in the documentary, they point out that he would make one of the women pretend like she was getting sodomized while reading some of the lines. He would constantly, I don't know if they mentioned this documentary, I just learned it on the internet, but he had like porn on his computer. Like he wouldn't show any of the kids, but he'd show like people who worked there. Or even that, having that there. I think where Nickelodeon is at fault, and this is what I'll say to anybody who's defending them, is that, yes, they're not at fault for not seeing the future, but they're at fault for creating a workplace where they just accept inappropriate behavior. And it doesn't matter. There's no limits as to what people can do, because they cultivated an environment where people like Brian Peck could thrive and take advantage of kids. Or they created an environment where people like that, where they could have a whole boardroom filled of people having sex, like their cartoon characters having sex. Like, they're the ones who are at fault for creating an environment where monsters like that then prospered and saw a lot of their like weird perverted fantasies come true. And just relating to the SpongeBob thing, I agree 100% that people should be held accountable for being perverts in a show that's supposed to be for kids.
Yeah.
And I think that people will gladly hide behind that veil of it's fun. Do you want to work at a place that's boring? It's animators. We're supposed to, like be silly. But I also think that in any artistic venture that you take in the world, there's a layer of professionalism. No matter what, even YouTubers, right? You can't just say anything to a fucking, like if you're a YouTuber, you can't just fucking say anything on the internet. There's certain lines that you don't cross, and there's certain time and places where you have to be serious. In an industry and in a company where you're working for kids, there's no excuse as to why you would make perverted images and then plaster them in a room and have that boldly just there for you and your friends to share. You're making a show about fucking kids. Like it's strictly about kids entertainment. And I feel like to just brush it off, like general public to just brush it off as like, oh, it's just being silly. Like, did you want a boring SpongeBob show? It's like what I would have been. There was a time where there wasn't a SpongeBob show, so there was it wouldn't have been that big of a fucking deal.
Well, yeah, for sure. But I really like how both of you said it, where it's like it's creating an environment where that's okay, which is where I kind of had the problem with it. Where I was literally like, why is everybody focusing so much on whether or not it's as bad? Sure, like, yeah, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
But to me, it's shit like that that leads to stuff that gets that bad. Because like I just feel like anywhere, if that's straight up just porn. Like if you look at obviously they're censored, it's porn. Like it's not this like artistic like
expression
Statue of David type shit. It's Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob's having sex, It's porn. And I think that's really weird that Nickelodeon was super like, yeah, that's cool. Like, we think that's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because then I think that invites other people who have these sick and sadistic like thoughts and desires to be like, oh shit, I mean, this place is cool as fuck. I can do whatever I want here.
Yeah, well, because it reminds me of, I don't know if anybody listening knows about Rooster Teeth. I'm sure, Julie, you've never heard of Rooster Teeth, have you?
Yeah.
Well, the Rooster Teeth, was this gaming company. And a few years ago, they got into some hot water because an intern had gotten fired, and then they went on Twitter and completely blasted them that they have a working environment that's homophobic, racist, and full of microaggressions. And what some of the people who worked in the company said is defending themselves is that like, oh, we're just joking around, and sometimes some people are more sensitive than the others, and they don't know that we're joking. I feel like it always comes to that argument, especially when it's talking about workplace, like professionalism, because everybody's different. But it doesn't, when you cultivate an environment where it's completely okay to say inappropriate things, you open the door for people to come in and just assume that, oh, everybody just agrees that it's okay to be openly sexist, racist, and homophobic. They don't know that it's a joke because to them, they actually share in those opinions. Yeah. So when you relate it to the SpongeBob perversion images, maybe you could argue that the guys were just doing it as a joke, but you open the door for somebody to come in and actually say, like, no, it's funny to be perverted towards kids and kids' entertainment. And I think that's where the biggest issue comes from, is that when you're not good at placing boundaries in the workplace, you're going to have somebody who's going to break every barrier that's there, especially when there's no barrier.
Yeah. I think that's why it leads to kids being like sexually abused. Because it's just like I feel like there's this environment where there's kind of like this openness of like having, and because like if you're, I don't know, the way I see it in my head is like if you're already having like these weird desires through an animation, how is it that doesn't open a door for somebody to have like those weird animations while working with kids?
I guess
in that sort of way.
Well,
that's what I mean.
The
like,
kids are characters too, right? Like iCarly and stuff. They're characters
and I
too.
just feel like there starts to be kind of like these fantasies with them. At least not all of them,
but like I get what you're saying.
But like with some, like somebody is like, oh well, if it's okay to kind of have these fantasies, like it's just a fantasy, it's not real.
Yeah.
And then for some people, they're very, I guess, like, what is it? Like they're very like sadistic, where it's just like some people are just very twisted like that, where they'll start having like those types of imaginations with people. And I feel like that kind of just leads to somebody always kind of breaks, basically saying like somebody always breaks and it goes to an extreme sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like, not that it directly does, but I'm saying that it has kind of like that environment. Like, it kind of has that environment of like, nobody cares. Like, nobody's going to tell us shit.
I guess for me, it's the fact that it's like the company is for kids. It's supposed to be for kids. And then they also have a bunch of sexually explicit stuff, whether it's their actions, their drawing, whatever it is. I think it's super weird to have those two things that shouldn't be, that should be extremely far apart, like together.
Yeah.
You know? And I think it's also weird because it's a lot of things. Like, SpongeBob is supposed to be a kid, right? They say it all the time. That's the plot of the movie, that he's a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, like, you know, I get it. Like, he's not like an actual kid or whatever. But I just think that's really weird that you're blending those two things, you know?
And he's a sponge. Like, y'all are sexualizing a sponge.
Especially when they made him asexual, and the whole thing was like, oh, he doesn't have, like, I don't know. I just find it weird that yeah, I don't know.
Well, his original name was gonna be SpongeBoy.
SpongeBoy, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
so he was supposed to be a kid.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on a little bit. Brandon, or was it Julian? Do you have one more thing to say?
No, my thing was a SpongeBob.
Yeah, he was a SpongeBob thing.
Did you have another thing to say, or am I forgetting that wrong?
No, I mean, it was just mostly that. Well, because I was gonna go into a little bit, but it's the same thing. It's just like, like right now we were talking about film and stuff, and to me it just made me think a lot, especially more of like the music industry, because like you also hear it with like kids who kind of come into the music industry. Someone that I always think about is kind of like Justin Bieber, and he actually had an interview about like, and nothing's ever come out that he's ever been like I guess violated or abused. But you do, like, if you YouTube it, you do see a lot of like past videos of older women always being very much like, oh my God, you're so cute and all these things. And my friend was telling me that there's actually an interview of Justin Bieber talking about how he's a sex addict, and that he's very much like really addicted to that. And I don't know, to me, I guess all these things just made me think a lot about like, about how these young actors or musicians kind of grow up and kind of are a little like fucked up, of like they either have drug problems or they have like what's the other one, like other like substance abuses, or like how Justin Bieber was a sex addict, or like they have like image problems because a lot of people like them because they're young, right? But then when they get older, they kind of just dismiss them. And there's just a lot of those things, and I feel like especially with the music industry, well, one, the film, like it gets ignored, but I feel like the music industry even more like is like kind of just like whatever, like even more like people kind of ignore that. But that was just like something that I kind of wanted to
like
mention and have, because
I think it speaks to like, I think because a lot of these things are like art, right? Steve spoke on it, and it was like, I think because people consider it, I mean, it is art, right? They don't bring over like a professionality to it, you know? And I guess it's easier to see with like when you brought up Rooster Teeth, or even like the animation stuff. I feel like, this is just my quick like perspective, I feel like there's this vibe of like, oh, it's not serious. Like, we're just friends. We're just having fun. Like, it's not an actual workplace. And I get that vibe, too, from even when they talk about the kid shows where it's like, it's not work. It's, like, fun. Like, we're, you know, it's not really, like, it's just fun. Like, there's no rules here. There's no nothing. And I think that's dangerous because I think people lose their... No, there's still a way you're supposed to act, because not everybody. I mean, not everybody's the same. Like when you bring up the people who come in, like those people aren't coming in there to be friends. They're coming in there for a job. Yeah, they're coming in there because, hey, like I need a job, this business, I gotta make ends meet. But then when there's this lack of professionality and everybody's joking, sharing porn, making obscene jokes, racist jokes, homophobic jokes, it's kind of like, what's going on. And I think because, you know, people come in there and there's a lack of professionality, I guess maybe people get this idea, or even maybe it's cultivated, that unless I conform to that idea, then I don't make it in this business.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's really weird. And I think maybe the music industry has that too. I think just art industries in general, that they kind of they try to escape a little.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, this is just creative. There's no business here. There's no, like, you know? What do you guys think?
No, I agree. I think that's why I agree with you in the sentiment that there has to be more protection towards kids. But what sucks about saying that is I feel like that's such a fucking obvious, like,
Dang.
no shit.
Yeah.
No shit, there has to be such a
Yeah.
protection towards kids. And it's almost saddening that that wasn't already the norm,
Yeah.
right? Like, you were protecting kids the most. Because even in our podcast, we've had guests who say that kids are, like, the most underrepresented, oppressed people on the planet, because they don't have rights the same way that an adult does.
Yeah.
And they don't have control over their autonomy the same way that an adult does.
Yeah.
They're so easily influenced. Like, it's saddening that just isn't the fucking norm. And it frustrates me because all I can do is say it, and I can't just change the world with my words.
Yeah.
But I guess ending off the podcast, I want to end it off on a lighter note, because I know this is a little heavy. So I want to talk to you guys about your guys' lives.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just talk about your guys' lives. How are you guys been? How are you guys doing? Huh?
Good.
Yeah.
It was funny because, well, not funny, but I'm like, before this, I had my therapy session.
Oh, really?
And it was nice because, well, it was nice, but I was getting sad. I did cry on my session, but
Aw.
it was more because we were talking about something. I won't get like super into it, but
Yeah,
we were talking
no
about
need.
something, and like, she was basically telling me like, oh, like when you think about like negative stuff, try to think about your younger self. She's like, think about like, I guess like kindergarten you, right? And the things that you say to yourself now, would you say that to your younger self? And then I remember there was something that I said, and she's like, how would you feel if you said that to your younger self? And I was like, I feel like that sounds really mean. And she's like, well, that's why, like, you shouldn't say that even to your adult self, right? And then even then, like, I forgot what else she said, and she's like, what would you say, like, with my feelings and everything, right? She's like, what would you say to your younger self? Like, how are you doing right now? And then I was like, I think I'm doing good. Like, I feel like things are better than like what they were when we were younger, right? And that's when I started crying, and she was like, why are you like crying? And I was like, it's because like I think about my younger self and the things that I feel and the emotions that I had when I was younger, and to think that now that like my life is a little better, and like my emotions and my feelings are a lot better and a lot more mature, and like how I handle myself, I think is a big thing for me. And I was like, I'm sad crying because I was just like, well, first for the first part, because I was like, I'm really mean to myself. And then I was like, but the other one is happy tears, because like I felt like I've come such a long way with my emotions. And that was like a big thing to me, because I was like, I didn't realize that. Like it really does, at least to me, it took somebody else to say that, and for me to also say it out loud, to kind of realize like the growth that I've had within myself. And like, because I've said it here before, where when I was younger, I was just very much like very negative and very sad. And to now think that like I'm helping myself with that by like going to therapy, right? But I'm also helping myself in like the things that I did before that to kind of get me to the positivity that I am at now. So that was really cool to like see.
That is really cool, bro. It speaks to this concept that if you wouldn't treat someone so negatively, then why are you going to treat yourself that way?
And I think, not to interrupt you,
No,
but
go
I
ahead,
feel
go ahead.
like it helps even more to think of yourself, like how she said it. Like, think of your younger self. Like, would you say these things to your younger self? And how would they sound? Yeah, like, and how would they sound to you? Or how does it look to you that an adult is saying this to a younger you? Like, how do you feel about that? And that gives you like more of a perspective on like how you shouldn't be negative to yourself.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah. If you see yourself as a kid, you wouldn't be as harsh to yourself as you are now. Like, would you say to little kid Brandon what you say to yourself now?
Probably not. What's that thing they say? They say, your love and compassion is incomplete if it doesn't involve you. So I think your therapist was spitting.
Yeah.
Self-love, bro. I actually really like it because it kind of relates to this whole talk about being a kid.
And a lot of it too, it also relates because she says that a lot of it too is also kind of like healing your inner child. Cause she did tell me, she's like a lot of the traumas that you have, come from you, whatever you experienced as a kid. And she's like, and you continuously like being negative is probably because something happened when you were little. But she's like, but that's why you're healing yourself. You're healing your inner child by not being mean to yourself currently. And that's why you imagine yourself as a younger version, because it's like, would you say this to your younger self? You know, would you be mean to this little kid? And so to me, when I started saying things and I just started crying, like I automatically just started crying. And she was like, what's going on? Like why, like what's going on? Yeah. And I was like, I think I was just really thinking about my younger self and like how mean I have been to like my younger self. And also just thinking about the growth that I've had since then. Because I feel like, again, like I have always been very negative towards myself. And to think that I am growing and that there is progress going on within like myself, that I feel like that was very, I guess, touching to think about.
I think it relates culturally too. Like I think that one of the biggest hurdles that Latino families need to face is healing the inner child. Yeah. Because whether it's your mom or your dad, your grandma or your grandpa, I see it a lot in Latino families where they would what's the word? They would just be aided a lot by healing that part of themselves. Because that's all, like sometimes when I see people who are really stuck by like machismo or marianismo, I feel like I see a kid. Like I see it even in our parents. Yeah. I see kids, like they act almost childish, and not in an insulting way, but in a way of simplicity. Like their actions are motivated by simple things, the same way a little toddler is. And I think that when you confront those feelings, you can understand what's the proper route you can take to heal yourself. Because if it was that your dad was very cold to you when you were a kid, and now maybe if your father's still alive, you guys can do stuff. It's not going to be all hugs and kisses and we're going to play baseball in the backyard. But it's small things like we're going to go to the grocery store together. Maybe I'll ask my dad more about how was it when he was growing up. Like, what did he like doing when he was a kid? What were his dreams when he was a kid? They'll find that connection they didn't have with their own father. And maybe they'll feel that healing. Because I think also people struggle to willingly accept advice and help. I think that people are afraid that they'll have this switch in their head that tells them that they're sick. Yeah. And obviously, nobody likes being sick. Nobody likes feeling like they're sick. Yeah. And it's one thing to help somebody against their will, but it's another thing to help somebody subliminally. Because everybody needs support. Everybody needs a rock. Yeah. Everybody needs a friend. So everybody needs somebody to lean on. And then this is where the song kicks in.
But yeah, that's all just to say that like things have been good, you know.
That's good. That's good.
I've been working too. I mean, y'all be seeing. I be trying to post. Yeah. If y'all follow us.
My sister's in her influencer era. I guess we're in our influencer era. What do I should do? I should do the silly TikToks where it'll be like food reviewing. Oh, I'll do the food review TikToks, bro. The like trying the new Little Caesars muffin pizza places. Absolutely ass.
But you guys said it was good though.
I haven't tried it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
I haven't tried it. I'm not a Little Caesars fan, so I haven't tried it.
It's because we're sponsored by.
It's because we're sponsored by Big Corp. Yeah. But Brandon, how are you?
Chilling. Yeah. Like a villain. Doing good. Yeah. Can't complain.
What is it? Smiling, vibing.
Being cool.
Trying
my best to do that. Yeah.
That's good then. Well,
what about you, bro?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm doing really good. I'm usually always doing pretty good. Got high and I watched This Is the End yesterday. Pretty cool. I started tweaking though. It was too much. I had to stop it.
You were like, oh my god, the world is ending.
It was scary. It was those sessions where I got so high I got scared. Yeah. Because I took an edible and I don't know. I guess I thought I was young me. I thought I was.
You still had that athleticism.
Yeah, I thought I was big dopey up in this bitch. Yeah. I thought I was about to like that elbow was gonna be nothing. That shit rocked my shit, bro.
What part scared you, or was it you were just scared general?
It started from the beginning, but I guess it started getting scary towards the what are they for some reason in the what's his name? What's his name? The big fat dude. He fucking eats all their food.
You mean Danny McBride?
Oh yeah, Danny McBride. He eats all their food, and then they're all panicking about like what's next, and they're talking about like, oh, I guess the only way to survive is to be a good person and like try and like ascend. And I just started thinking about like the world ending, and like I was thinking about like if I was a good person, like would I be one of the people who go to heaven? And then I started thinking about how like it's about the entertainment. It's like obviously it's very self-aware, and I really admire how self-aware it is that none of them go to heaven. I guess they're all celebrities and actors. Yeah. And I was thinking about like how we kind of, if we don't work in the entertainment industry right now, we at least rub elbows with a lot of people who do. And I was thinking about like, but I think they're all cool. But is that just saying more about me? Like, am I a bad person? And I just accept bad behavior as actually being like acceptable. Yeah. Like, I guess on some like quiet on set type shit, like where I just think like it's not that serious, right? Mm-hmm. And then I just was like sitting there and contemplating my own morality. Yeah. And like if I died today and if heaven existed, would I go to heaven?
They say, I forgot who says this in the Bible. I think it's Jesus. He says it's easier.
Oh, that guy?
It'll be that no name.
That guy. I think
random cameo.
He's there sometimes in the Bible.
I think I don't know if it's him or somebody says it who has like, you know. He has
status. He has
ranking,
high ranking.
Yeah, he has feats. He said it's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than it is to get the average person into heaven. Basically saying like we're all fucked. Yeah. So.
Well, at least
we'll all be together.
Yeah, that's what I like.
But also, when you the world, I learned this interesting fact. Not to be, I think it's just interesting. Did you know that there's when it comes to like climate change? You know how, I don't know if you guys have this perception that climate change is kind of like a linear, like incremental thing, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like slowly but surely it'll get too hot for people to live, or slowly but surely the ice caps will melt, or slowly but surely, but it's a very like steady thing. Apparently that's not true. There's like this theory amongst a lot of scientists called the canoe theory, where essentially the way they paint it is, think about it. If you're in a canoe and you keep rocking it, sure, it seems like slowly you'll kind of go over, but eventually you'll rock enough where you just flip. So they're saying climate change is like that, where it's like, it's not this slow thing. You rock it enough and it flips. And the way this person explained it is like, how that looks is like a billion people die in a year. So it's like, it's not like a, yeah.
Well, I'm glad we ended the show on a positive note, guys. I was like, let's talk about something to end the show on a positive note. Like, at least 1 billion people will probably die in 1 year. It's like, well, thank you.
I mean, how much did we get with COVID? To what number?
I think like 1 million,
like a few million, not that much.
1 billion people dying is insane numbers. Like that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, 1 million is a lot of people, but I mean, in comparison to the population.
Well, because you've seen those people where they compare like $1 million to $1 billion, or it's like they do it in seconds. Like 1 million seconds is like a week, and then 1 billion seconds is like 37 years. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, at least we'll all be together. And that's our show. Yeah. Want to give a quick shout out to our patrons.
Yeah, shout out to all our patrons.
We hope we see you guys in hell.
Yeah. Shout out to Yoel. Shout out to Jada Chicano. Shout out to Daniel Villanueva. Shout out to Angel Zamaron. Shout out to Sarah without an H. Shout out to Carlos, and shout out to Steven Carbajal. Your patronage is greatly appreciated. So if anyone ever wants to join the Patreon, our link is always in the description. But
we still have the live show going on. We're going to be there.
We still have the live show. But by the time you guys see it, it'll be a week.
Maybe the apocalypse will happen that day. You never know. And then you'll want to be with us.
But buy your tickets. I don't know how many we've sold.
I don't know either, but
Hopefully,
We sold too many.
hopefully,
You better
But
buy
you
it
can
soon.
hopefully enough where there's like kind of a crowd. It's like 5
Yeah.
people.
It's okay. Either way, we'll have a good time. It'll
Yeah.
be fun. Well, we're gonna do a lot of interaction with you
Yeah.
guys, so it's
They
you
are.
guys will meet us.
Yeah.
You'll meet them. I'm
Oh.
just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
kidding.
this is
I'm-
why he's not going into heaven.
I'm just
he doesn't like
kidding.
people.
I'm
He's
just-
mean. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little mean.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
He's got the bunker. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm a
He'll be
little
safe.
mean.
But you guys stay tuned to our Patreon too. I might have a small vlog on there about what I do at work.
Yeah.
You can
so
only
stay
see it
tuned.
if you subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.